It's okay. Yeah, I can set it up. Go ahead, put them down. Thank you. You could fill that up even more if you wanted.
I have the other one over there.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have two baby ones.
We got these numbers here. We got, let's see, where's my,
Well, you don't want it to look not perfect, see? So make you two tiny. Two double expressos.
NVIDIA pulling another gap and go type scenario. Where's my lines? This is the pre-market high there at 958, 959 even. 959 even on NVIDIA for that gap and go type idea. The high from yesterday was a pretty muted move. I mean, muted as we could say, for running from 900 up, sitting above 915, and then just kind of grinding higher all the way the rest of the day up into 928-ish. So we're gapping above that close. Microsoft, well, potentially this could sell in the next 7 minutes, but Microsoft didn't quite reach highs of yesterday. Right there in the pre-market, it hit off on it and sold off, so we're kind of approaching that 406.18. Yesterday we said bullish above 406.18, right? We got above it and then we rallied up the rest of the day. Microsoft now pushing down towards that same level, so if it catches a bounce, there could be a bounce in the market, but it also could flush and go back down and through. NVIDIA, like I said, just does whatever it wants. Apple, we had Apple here. Yesterday I mentioned it was going to stay range bound unless something happened. We got to pop out and then just rotate it right back in. So pretty much range bound. Closed the day on its lows. Now opening pretty much exactly in the same spot it opened yesterday at 169.87-ish. Well, like I said, we'll see in the next 6 minutes if it opens and moves. Okay. All right. Realistically, to me, plan of the day is to be a little bit just patient with what happened with the non-farm. I took one trade early this morning, and I mean, didn't really get anything out of it. Down $30 on it, but and this one was break even. So I said I was sell ordered here right for it. It sold off, dumped through. I said it's a break even quick because you know how this happens, and we got stop for break even there. So we're looking at what's going on right here, right now. Our overnight zones, we have from here to here. From here to here, this is the overnight. The high is obviously what we just put in, and the low is the non-farm low here. So I'm going to put this overnight high is pretty much all-time highs, just about. It didn't quite make it. We did tick right there to the high of that candle is 375.50, and the all-time high is 378, I believe, 378 and a quarter. So didn't quite make new all-time highs. So that's something that I'm going to be interested in because it's been just pumping through all-time highs over and over and over again. S&P's pushed through yesterday through the all-time highs, failed it. Didn't really fail it. Pushed through all-time highs yesterday and just continued to run. Let me see. I got to put my 30-minute up. Sorry. The S&P's here. There was that previous all-time high at 5157. We did push through that yesterday, held above it. We ended up closing, I believe, just above. Yep, we closed just above there at 5161.75. Once the market pretty much closed, we dumped down and then ripped right back up, held. On the open, we gapped up a little bit, held right on top of that 575, and we just ground higher all night until right pre this number, right? 5 o'clock. This sold off down into a range where they're like, hey, there's some liquidity down here. Obviously, you see that wick there. Then you got this wick, obviously. Then you get the number release, and then you get all that whippy algo action. Now you're coming back up above those all-time highs that I made yesterday. Wicked it. Now we're looking like a tweezer top here on a 30-minute. Let's see how this candle closes, if it kind of comes up into there, or if it closes in this top third of this big candle. We probably do see some continuation just because we are above that previous all-time high, which was yesterday. And then the NASDAQ kind of not playing along as well as the S&Ps as far as the all-time high breakout idea. The all-time high for NASDAQ is 18,378 and a quarter. This move that happened with the non-farm pushed us right up into there and then rejected it pretty hard. There's some resistance there. There's definitely a seller that wants to be involved at that 352 level, which is right up here. You can kind of see pushed up above 352, sold, and then you kind of tried to hold it, came back down through, popped its head right above 352, and now it's selling off from there. So I like the shorts, but being so close to the all-time high, any sort of push up and through it, I'm going to stay out because you know what happens to me when I do that. I kind of get run over and all that jazz. So let's see what happens come the open. We'll see what the opening range kind of prints, if it whips around a bit because of that non-farm number with these market participants right away. Got myself a little penguin espresso mug today. This is the mug of the day. Little penguin espressos. It's got its own little saucer. Pretty neat. It's got my short squeeze espresso in there. It's non-farm Friday. I'm not trying to get crushed today, so let's see what happens. I will try and take an extended move. This S&P is looking like it wants to open below that all-time high from yesterday, so that's indicative of maybe some sellers coming back into the market here right pre-market. And we'll see if it wants to get back above it or not. Because the NQ does not necessarily have anything as far as that all-time high is concerned.
Circle this date.
All right, so now we're open. Let's see where we go from here. I think we got just a little bit of decisions to make as far as what the market's like or dislike about that NFP number. It did come in higher than expected, which normally is good for the markets, good for the dollar, but it's bad for that rate cut idea, right? The rate cut idea not going to give you the best look on that with the higher non-farm, but at the same time, unemployment did tick up as well, so that could lead to a softening economy, like if they think. 8 seconds left in this candle. We may take the breakdown and see where we go from there. Do like that. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to take the opening range breakdown. Stop at the 325 level. Taking one shot at it there, and then I'll let something set up. I just like that opening range breakdown. Didn't give it a second to close, though. That was my bad. Right at VWAP. Right at VWAP. Kind of just hammered in that short. Should have waited a second on it. S&P's trying to tick back up above that all-time high from yesterday, so 170 is that number that I want to be mindful of. This gets down back below here, I'll add one more, but I don't know if it's going to be or not. Decisions. Right here at the VWAP. Apple bouncing, Microsoft selling, Nvidia doing Nvidia things. I took this shot because I have one micro on. I'm not risking a ton, right? I'm just going to give it a little bit of room here at 325. It's going to get stopped right here, so it's fine. Down 65 on that little trade there. I'll update that board. We did go short real quick, just trying to catch a little initial breakdown. Now I'm just going to be patient with the setup. Down 65 on that there. Let's see if we can catch something worthwhile, worth the setup. You may want to see it go up into that 50 range and fail. If not, that all-time high break could come into play after that, right? We have this pre-market. This is that NFP candle right here with these few. So we had this wide range. A break above that range probably confirms any sort of move, and then beyond up into all-time highs. And then any sort of breakdown from where we were, possibly look to continue the selling all the way down into into our lower zones here, 160, maybe even down into 18,000. Let's see what happens at Microsoft 406.18. If we get a bounce from there or not. Nvidia is just kind of sitting here at 953. If we leave that overnight, that opening range high right there, I'll take another shot at the short through the low. That'll be a nice little short there through that low of there. The trading view continuous contracts not going to help us today because it gapped up pretty big. Nvidia is taking off now. Apple bouncing off 168. Right, I had that level drawn up from yesterday. Pretty key bounce. Nvidia. All right. Broke above that opening range high, leaving that opening range at the low. So that break above there could give us some buying pressure. So we're going to go long here, risking below this little consolidation zone. I'm just going to be a little bit aggressive with this because the opening range trade failed on the bottom end. So if it will hold, if the opening range is going to hold the high, it should go from here. And if we break above all-time highs, maybe get some actual follow-through going on here. So we are long from 345. Trying to play that opening range. Oh, NVIDIA failing that 958, but looking to try and push back above it. Okay, disregard on that. That opening range high failed pretty nicely, actually. That's a failed breakout there. Okay, so down 100. No harm, no foul there. Trying those opening range trades. It's just something newer. That's why I'm trying these micros on it. Just want to see if I could hit off on one that's the last few days of the opening range. It left one of the ends behind and then never looked back. Right yesterday, pretty much the low, I believe it was, right at the low of the day, it opened and then we pumped down and then rallied back up. So that right initial open sell off was really, really good. And then we got the failure. So maybe we'll get the failure on the other end. Now that we failed the high. Trying this opening range idea. Failed that high. NVIDIA trying to reject 958.62. If we get a hold below here, then maybe we look to go long on it. I mean short on it. Right? A hold below here. Maybe recover what happened with the non-farm. There's going to be some fire alarms going off, I believe, potentially, because my building is testing fire alarms. So if you hear fire alarms go off, I apologize. Microsoft pushing down to that 406.18 level. NVIDIA failing some highs here. I do believe S&P is holding below that 170. Let's see, we can get this to actually flush this bottom here. Then we should be in okay shape to leave that view out behind. Then at this point, 300 is a pretty key level, obviously, as you can tell. Let's see if it'll hold or not. Just playing this opening range breakdown now. The opening range breakdown, failed that low, bounced on it, failed the high, flushed. If we could fail 300, now we should get selling that continues on, recover some of this non-farm move. I think with that hot number, kind of really, in my eyes, they're not going. It's another reason that they're not going to cut rates, but the unemployment rate ticking up may be a reason for them to do it. So if we take this heat here and take a loss on it, then we're going to just kind of just settle in, take a walk for a second, and reconvene. Finish up our espressos. Caffeination station. Microsoft's still pushing lower. NVIDIA is still kind of dancing around this opening. We opened down here, so that 950 level is going to be pretty important for NVIDIA. I don't know about Apple. Apple bounced off that 168. Nice. Coming right into that 169.82 level that I found as resistance, but markets aren't following through quite as nice as they are. And Microsoft, you got here, pushing down lower. Meta, Amazon, Google pumping. NVIDIA trying to tick up into that 959 again. So if it does break above that high, then you're going to be off, I think, to highs and through all-time highs again. But S&P's trying that 170, taking it, trying to hold above it. Now we're kind of diverging the two. NQ is going down, NASDAQ and S&P is going up. So which one's going to be the leader on the day, we'll find out. Looks like it's trying to hold this 300, but if we could flush 300, we should get some downside pressure. And that's why I want to be that opening range low short through this low here, 300 being the key zone. That's my thought process on it. If not, like I said, we get stopped out again and we just chill for a little bit on the day. Yeah, looks like we're going to try and get some strength here in NVIDIA, which is probably pushing us upside. We're going to get stopped out on this above 318. I'm just keeping the stops a little tighter, just above that VWAP area, because I think if we do bounce and rip through VWAP, then you do get some buying pressure to kind of continue in, and then all-time highs try to get tagged again. But like I said, S&P is trying to push up, maybe leading us to the high side here. So be mindful of that. If you are looking to go in, my stopping out means probably longs want to be involved. I've tried to be a little more aggressive today than I did yesterday. Not really to my advantage, down 145 to start the morning. Just got to kind of reconvene and figure out what I want to do a little bit differently. Probably Fridays just being one of those days where I just should, especially non-farm days, kind of look to avoid a bit. But really just in a little bit of a chop here. At the moment, I'm not really seeing any downtrends, maybe up into here, but I'm not going to use that level for anything. It's not really telling me much. I got VWAP. We're sitting on VWAP. We're basically right in the middle of the opening range. I'm going to give it some time to pick a direction, and then maybe I'll play the direction that it chooses and go from there. Like I said, I think S&P's broke through that yesterday's all-time high. I think that kind of lags this NQ with it some. We do have the only one I do have right here. You can see NQ from yesterday into last night. You have that little kind of held those bodies there, and now we're trying to hold below it. Any break above, let's call it 32, looks like 35. I guess it's pretty much that opening range high. That opening range high breakout may lead to some more buying. S&P's is pumping. You can see S&P's pumping up there, looking to break those highs one more time. If it is leading us, then that'll be an interesting see if this will follow us up or if it's going to fail down with the NQs failing to the downside. Because the NASDAQ isn't really giving you that follow-through push at all like this S&P looks like it wants to do. So let's see. What does the Russell look like? IWM. Pushing through the highs, SPY pushing up to the highs, QQQ not pushing to the highs. So that's what we're looking at here. Let's see, QQQ, SPY pushing to that all-time high. And like I say, IWM, that Russell breaking highs, MVDA. If NVIDIA breaks that pre-market high, that 959 flat number, then it'll probably get a good pop in it. S&P's, IWM, everybody pushing high side except for the NASDAQ. Microsoft still sitting pretty much flat on the day, 407.33. Didn't push down to that 406.18 yet for the bounce. NVIDIA's trying to roll over. Apple, that 169 level is pretty important. 300 still acting as a good support level here for this market. I mentioned, like I said, NFP took that information and rallied up right into that resistance on the overnight pre-market on that number. We got higher than expected NFP numbers and higher than expected unemployment. So they kind of cancel each other out a little bit because there's more jobs, yet more people unemployed, by 3.9% as opposed to 3.7%. We'll see if that plays any sort of factor into this maybe trying to roll over. I do think that was probably a number that I would expect them to not like. That's why I tried to go a little short quick there, break even. But it looks like it's trying its best to fail this level. I'm not going to take the breakdown yet. Third time's the charm type deal. You got lower highs, failed to break above when S&P's was making new all-time high levels, attempting to push into new all-time high levels, holding yesterday's all-time high levels of 170.75. So maybe a break above this little wedge here gives you that pop in the S&P, in the NQs here, right? A break above here and that 325 and the delta kind of pushing up, maybe that gives you that look to the high side. I'm going to buy that break. Buying that break based on the divergence of S&Ps, Russell, everything pushing high side, and the NQ just lagging. Apple just broke above 169. Microsoft is catching a little bit of a bounce, and Nvidia pushed down to this low here and is potentially looking to bounce from there. So, and then you broke through this little wedge pattern. So we'll see if we can get a little bit of follow through to the high side. We're going to watch that yellow zone. If we do break above that yellow zone there, the all-time high is sitting just above it at 378. So I would anticipate an all-time high break if we can hold that all-time high in the S&Ps, which it looks like it is. S&Ps is just absolutely pumping. It's at 5,181.50. We're finally getting the break of this opening range high. If we can break today's high, that probably leads us into that overnight high. So those are like the two pretty important levels that you're gonna have to start watching. If this fails, then it is what it is. But trying to look for these setups that have been working, that I haven't been taking, and be a little bit more aggressive on them. We're just watching this. We're long from 18,333 and a quarter. Long one MNQ at 18,333 and a quarter. Let's see if this all-time high can break. S&Ps. Look at the S&Ps. You can see S&Ps just giving you that huge pump rally. This was that previous high from yesterday. We broke these highs, pre-market highs. And the NASDAQ was just lagging it so much. Like, we haven't quite made those new all-time highs. We haven't even made new highs of the morning. If we can get up through that 378 and a quarter, that seems to be the line in the sand there. That all-time high could come in. I'm going to leave the stop down here for now. If we can get into that yellow zone and try and break above, then we'll go to break even, and then we'll see how far up we can take it if we do break that all-time high level, and then we can see if we can get ourselves back to even and beyond on this move here. Try to be a little bit patient on the hold, just based on the strength of everything. Nvidia now rallying, pushing through. If we can get up through that 959, should see it go. Microsoft also caught a bid. Apple, see if it holds or freezes. There we go. 169.82 holding above there. We broke the high of the morning, so at least we have a new high of day. Days like today, Fridays, tend to be trendy, and if it picks a trend to the upside, we could look to see this thing crack that all-time high and just never look back here. So if I can get above that all-time high, we could get to break even and see how far we can take it. See if we could be one of those days where we could just be patient, maybe even find an add-on on some sort of break above, pull back, get up to 400 or something like that, come back, break down. That's really what I would like to anticipate on a move like this, but we just ran right into that resistance again. There is a seller here at 367. I did mention that 352 area. So 352 is important for me to be mindful of. Normally, how many times do I have to see this play out before I decide to jump in on it? The all-time high breakout on a Friday is it seems to be the go-to move for the market of the last few months. So I'm going to try and join the party this Friday and see if I can be part of that jam. Looks like it's starting to play out. We are in the green on this one. That 352, I really got to watch 352 with Nvidia not playing nice with that high. I don't want to be turn a decent winner there into a loser. Up 90 ticks on it already, so If it comes back 90 ticks, then we're going to get stopped out. I put my stop at that opening range high, just above it. If we just sell off from here and rip down, I'll stop out. And I'll look to see if it'll get another continuation attempt. But if we do break above here and go, it should never really look back, to be honest. I think based on the way Fridays have been acting, all-time high breaks on a Friday seem to continue on and rally. But like you said, I was up 90 ticks on it. I didn't want to see it come all the way back and give me a red, a full loser on a play that's up that much. You shouldn't really give back 90 to 100 ticks on a move if it's going to continue and follow through. Alrighty, see, we're thinking about it, trying to work that level there. That zone is acting pretty strong. Microsoft giving a little curl, Nvidia curling some, Apple looking to break, Tesla, Google, Amazon. Google still pushing highs, which is nice. Amazon rotating higher. I need Nvidia to play along. There we go. A little bit of a tick up in Nvidia. Any tick up in Nvidia should help this. And like I said, any break above 959 probably sends this off to the races once again. Like I said, I think 1,000 is in Nvidia's cards at some point in the near future. There's really not anything holding it back, and that's a pretty psychological number for a target for it to hit. If other names like SMCI are going to be up at 1,000, then Nvidia will be at 1,000 soon. AMD leading to the upside for the chips. Apple pushing up to that 170 level and beyond, so that's good for our long. All right, we're trying to accept above. Let's see if it'll push through that all-time high here. 78 and a quarter is right here. I mean, it's right above. So, that 80 level, 78 and a quarter. I did mention that 52 is a pretty important number here too. That 352 all night all during this time post NFP number. This seems to play out. I'm going to put a little line here because that seems to be an important level, 352 to 357. So I'll leave that there. If that cracks the downside, maybe it comes back roaring down, but I would like to leave my stop down here at break even. Like I said, if it does come back all the way to stop me out, then it's probably going to stop me out for a fall loss anyway, and I don't want to be involved in that, but I do want to see if it'll play as a long through these all-time highs. Just because we're so close to them, it's a Friday. Markets have been doing that over and over and over and over again to me, and I haven't been playing with it, so it's my turn to capitalize on a long through the all-time highs if we can get there. That green, blue sky breakout type move. There's that whippy action down low, and now trying to push higher, see if we can get through that high. S&P is still pumping. I would love to add something onto the top, but I'm trying to just be manage my position today and get myself, back to even and then beyond. We'll see what happens with Nvidia at these highs. I need Nvidia to get through 959, and that'll really rip this up higher. I think a dump but below 357 may initiate some selling. However, my stop is in a location where it's got to be, and I'm just going to let it breathe and see if I could just be involved in this kind of longer term on the day and just maximize my gains through the ability of the longer hold thought process here. Ticking up, ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. Looking to try and break that high. The top end of this little yellow zone is resistance as well at 70. We did get a wick above it and dumped right back down below. So it's not giving you that hard breakout quite yet. Delta is ticking up still, so we are congruent. There you go. There's the break. And looking to get to that all-time high. Still didn't quite touch it. 377.50. Come on now. Well, I think now that we're there, we got to move our stops below these wicks here. I didn't see a 78 print. 77 and a quarter was the print. There we go. Now we're finally at new all-time highs on NASDAQ. Let's see if it does what it's been doing and doesn't look back. This is a Friday all-time high breakout, and every time it's done that of late, it's just continued to rally and rally and rally and rally all the way into the close. So that's really what I want to see on this type of move here. Do I want to let it breathe and come back on me? I mean, maybe I do, but like I said, I want to see if it'll play out like these previous all-time high breaks have played out. S&P is still pushing up higher on the 30-minute. You know, we're at 5,185. 5,200 isn't that far out. You know, it felt like a long shot call by some of these banks early on this year. 5,200 this year for the S&Ps, but we're coming into it pretty quick. So let's see if it'll kind of play out. We are long from that 18,033. We're sitting up about 158 ticks on it. We're looking to see if that all-time high will give us that breakout or not. It seems like it wants to. If NVIDIA will break 959. Every Friday, it seems like it's been a continuation type day. So I've been not playing that, not playing it. And today is the day that I'm going to try and capitalize on those longs through the all-time highs. I haven't been a part of the train at all, and now today's the day. All right. So if we come back down below 57, we'll be out. If we get to 400, I'm going to be watching to see what kind of price action we get there. I may look to move my stop down into here and just secure some of this from the breakout. Nah, I'm just going to leave it. It's strong. There's nothing telling me to get out of it yet. So I'm going to watch Delta. That's going to be my help in looking for an exit, right? If I see a Delta divergence type idea or I see like a big red Delta candle where we're going to get some hard selling, then maybe I'll look to be out. But right now, it's just all blue skies ahead. See how high we can get, because S&Ps yesterday broke all-time highs and just continued on. Today it broke all-time highs again, just kind of dragged us upside. Once I noticed that, that's why I switched to the long and played this breakout idea from this opening range high. I played it once, failed on it. We played the breakdown twice, failed on it, and now we're sitting down a little bit, but we're sitting in a nice little trade to the upside here. Really unrealized, we're down about $40. So I want to see this thing get up into that 400 level. If we can get up into 400, let's see if we can, secure a little bit more of this move. Maybe we get a little bit of a pullback into the 70 and then just continue to rally on. If not, I think maybe just straight up. That would be nice. Straight up is a good move for me. All-time high break rally in Fridays seems, and this is also we're entering the rollover period. So during that rollover period, the contracts are a little bit diverged. So we have NQ1. I got a little scared on this yesterday because I saw this. I was like, what the fuck kind of gap is that? But that's just the rollover into here. If you kind of just adjust it downside, we just broke all-time highs, which are here. But this contract is sitting at that 664, 640, right? So is this contract, that previous contract, the NQH, is that this contract going to catch up to that 600 level or get closer to it so that the gap on the two contracts isn't that far apart? That could be a possibility as well. It's going to be interesting for the roll, right? NVIDIA is still having a hard time with that 959 pre-market level. like I said, if it does break above it, then we do have a good follow through, a good pressure for our hour long here to continue on. Microsoft is pushing up a little bit. You can see Microsoft pushing up. Hasn't had much of a resistance, but it hasn't been really acting like, strong or weak. It's just chilling. Apple broke above that 170 and has just been rallying since that sweep of the low at 168.98, so 169. Kind of just held right above there and continue to rally. Hopefully Apple can just continue this push upside, carrying us a bit. NVIDIA needs to stop with this dance and just break through 959 to the high side. So if it does, then we can be satisfied in our long bias for the day and see if this thing will continue to hold us upside. Previous Friday, let's go on to NQH 2024. We'll go to Friday. What was Friday? Thursday. That's yesterday. Friday. We didn't have an all-time high breakout this previous Friday. However, go Sunday, Friday. Friday, you had that rally. And then once you started to get up into there at open, right at the open, the sellers got initiated and it ended pretty much the day. Got a little bit of a bounce, rotated down, but up until about 10:15, 10:30, you had a straight push to the downside. So right now it's 9 o'clock. You might catch some resistance here at 9 for a bit and then continuation. See if the previous Friday has anything different. Wednesday. Thursday, Friday. Friday here, 2, 3, 6, 8, 8:30 right there. You got the sell-off initially right from that opening range, push through lows, and then you caught a bounce at around 9:30. So maybe you're looking for that, but that's not an all-time high breakout. Let me get a all-time high breakout on a Friday. There we go. This was a previous all-time high breakout on a Friday, continuation type play, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 on the open. You look to the downside for a second, pushed up, broke all-time highs, continued on, rallied on for the entire day into the close. And that's kind of what we're looking at right here. We got a little peak down on the NFP, pushed up, and now we're just looking upside. So let's see if we can get something similar to that. If not, then we will be at least securing some of this profit down below. 357 is that point where I would like to say that I'm probably wrong and the shorts may come back into play. So until that 357 level comes back in, I don't really want to be out unless I could, like I said, unless I get like a delta divergence strategy set up for a short, then that's where I would look for short to get out of a long. But right now you can still see still bullish, still holding above that all-time high, previous all-time high level at 78. We'll call it 80 for a round number's sake. Right? This is that. We'll call that 82.25 acting as resistance there. It seems like there's a buyer at that level. So another break above here could push us up into that 400. Above 400, maybe you get some more buyers coming in, stepping in, and taking this thing even longer. But Microsoft running up into that 409.84. And NVIDIA, once again, butting its head right up against that 959. If we can get through that 959 on NVIDIA, I would anticipate a pretty decent breakout for it. It's been breaking out like easily, 950 to 950. It's like $7-8 at a time. Down here, we chopped a bit. But when we did break out, it was about 918 to 920 to 924, a $4 move, $5 move. So NVIDIA just broke through that level, 959, now up into 961. Easily looking to try and carry us to the upside. These names here just need to keep that momentum going to the high side. As long as the momentum goes up with Microsoft, with NVIDIA, with Apple, then we should be safe in the long, right? You could see those names there. I'll leave Nvidia and Apple up because Apple's been carrying the market to the high side since this morning on the open. We've been pushing up. We are sitting basically now at this point pretty much break even since the open. If we can get some continuation on this, then potentially look to see if we can get back to positive on this trade here. I might look for like a little dip below here into that 70 something and then for another high side continuation, but hopefully we don't even get that. I'm going to look at the 30-minute here. There's a chance that we can get one of those rallies going. That's, only 400 points. So another 400 points puts us up at 600. Could we hit 600 today is the question. We're above 400 now. Now that we're above 400, I don't want to come back to the breakout point anymore. So we're securing about 170 ticks there. So if we come back below 375, we'll be out. But S&P is pushing highs. NQs now finally broke their all-time high, and we are in a Friday continuation day break to the high side. So there's 400 got, and we are off to the races. I'm glad that I finally am able to catch one of these days where the long works and I'm in on it. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm only in a micro. Just really trying to hammer myself back into taking good executions and not that I'm not fearful or anything like that, but just to reset the mentality of you can take these trades, you can make good money on them. There is possibilities on this to secure good profits, right? So, and just like, the strategies work. That's what I need to see. I want to see if 400 will hold. If 400 will hold, I may move the stop up there. If it kind of starts to linger back down, then we'll see what we can do from there. But I like how strong this breakout candle is above that 400. So anything below here may start to induce some sellers. So I'm going to watch it carefully, and then I may trail my stop up to there. I think 420 obviously is that level that markets like to hit. 420s, 69s, any of the funny numbers the market likes. Even numbers, round numbers, stuff that people would joke about. Market participants are ironic most of the time. 666s, all those things, those are going to be very interesting levels for you to just watch because they are psychological, right? Yep. So anything above here, not trying to trade the P&L, trying to trade the price action. I want to see if price breaks above here, and if this delta does not, then we're going to kind of be careful with it. We will probably go to 400. Seems like delta is just trying to tick up, not really getting anything. Tilt isn't really heavy long for this, 60% long, so it's pretty much congruent. Nothing where I see a heavy tilt bias where it's going to want to be shorted off of that, just that information alone. Like I said, unfortunately, only one micro on this. If you do your math, one micro is 1/10 of a mini. So we are looking pretty good here. Can't be mad about securing up into 400. I just wanted to tell me to get out instead of just getting out. That's 265 ticks that you would secure at 400. 265 ticks. That's a good day. That's a good week. There were times in the market that people would be dreaming of that many ticks in a day, and we get that day after day after day after day. Very, very happy with this move. Like I said, we were playing both ends of these, and we were just kind of stopping ourselves out until it decided to pick a direction. Finally picked a direction. The initial idea was long over. It was a short through the bottom. The short through the bottom failed once, failed twice. Once you got two failures, a push back up, S&P's pushing all-time highs more than one occasion. Realistically, S&P is way above that previous all-time high level. That 5.15775 was that previous all-time high. We wicked below it pre-market, and we've rallied above yesterday's all-time high, which was 71. So as long as S&Ps continue to hold up higher, and I mean 200's right in the grasp. 200's right here. That's not far off. I think 200 could get tagged before we decide to get a low, but you can see Delta trying to make a new low here. Price also trying to push down through, so you may get some sellers coming in here at 400, but I don't want to just trail just quite yet. I want to see if maybe we'll get a bounce here. If we do get a flush from 4, it's okay. We're looking to see if this 382 level will hold, and then we're going to watch to see maybe we break through the highs one more time. If we break through the highs again here, I'm going to go stop the 4 because this shouldn't come back. It could come back, I should say, but it shouldn't come back without flushing it deeper. Apple giving a little bit of a breather. Nvidia also giving a little breather. Microsoft hit that 410 and failed. Let's see if we can break above it and hold. If Microsoft can get above that level and hold 412, I would love to see Microsoft up into 412. I drew this level up for yesterday's high, right? So if we can get above yesterday's high and continue on, you can kind of believe that this market continues to want to stay to the long side. I did mention yesterday, bullish above 406.18 on Microsoft. Nvidia bullish forever. Apple above 170. Is a bullish sign as well. So kind of in that let's continue on to the upside idea for the time being. The only thing here, Nvidia, like I said, I think 1,000's in the cards, and potentially, it's not out of the realm of possibility for it to be tagged today. So if the S&Ps can continue to hold the highs, get up into that 5,200 that people were anticipating later on in the year, then maybe potentially that there's a spot that it's considered a short. So here's that attempting to break the high again. Didn't quite get it. I'm going to wait till it does break above 420. If it tags 420, then we can go to 400 as our stop. That's a 20-point trail, which is good. Like once you're this deep into profit, you just got to kind of manage your position as best as you can. Hope that it never looks back, and you continue to look. I'll go to the bottom of this wick, a little bit tucked in there, not quite fully that 20-point stop. 400 is that key psychological level, so you may get some wicks of it before you get anything else to happen. So let's see. Non-farm Friday, drew ourselves down some early. Right now we're sitting about 350 ticks in profit, so pretty happy with that. We've secured 250 of those ticks, which technically still puts us unrealized down, or even if we get stopped right now, it'll put us down a little bit on the day. But I think we are net positive on the morning with this move to the high side here. I want to see how far we can get. I think 18,600 just based on the measured move from the previous just rally day could be in here. So every little swing, we're gonna just kind of trail below that swing low. If we make new highs, trail to the swing low. Make new highs, trail to the swing low. That's gonna be the trail until we get, just try to maximize this little micro that we have on here. The micro runner working out for us nicely. So, like I did mention, the Fridays have tended to be trending type days of the last year. So we are looking at Friday here to do the same thing it's been doing. I have not capitalized on a Friday because I haven't made the adjustment onto that max pain that they try to cause before the weekend, it seems. We are making new highs in Delta. So price and Delta are acting together for the most part here. We're getting a little bit of a dip in the Delta, but you're also getting a little bit of dip in the price. So if we can make new highs and try to push the Delta up also, then we should be safe here. If we start to see delta creeping down and you get a big wick, then I may look to trail even tighter up to that 420. Like I said, I mentioned market is ironic. It likes ironic numbers. It likes 420s. It likes 666s. It likes 69s. You do the deductions on why, because maybe we're all just immature adults that trade the markets. And we will all want to be kids deep down. So we trade so we can be children. I think that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, overall good move here. Just trying to secure as much of it as we possibly can, trailing it up. We're sitting about 360 ticks in profit right now. Very happy with the way we decided to just say, all right, enough is enough. Mr. Market, if you're going to trend on Fridays on an all-time high breakout, I will play that play every time now until it doesn't work. So this seems to be my new, it's going to go into my playbook. That's for sure. I tested it right now with this micro. Obviously, it would be great to have been testing it with a full mini, but we didn't trust it to test it on that. If you're working on new strategies, working on stuff, don't go in full size and be like, hey, let's see if this works, because then you don't let it have the ample breathing room. You don't let it have the ability to work itself out without that emotional strain of, oh shit, I gotta get out. A little bit of an oversized position for a new strategy kind of test. So you can see Delta kind of playing along with the I want to stop here idea at 420. I am willing to give back to below this wick for now. If we make a new high and Delta doesn't make a new high, I'm going to go right to the bottom of this wick below 420. This high volume node here is right above that. You are sitting on top of this upper VWAP band, that single standard deviation above VWAP. So we're kind of holding that as support at the moment. I don't have other moving averages or anything like that, but I would anticipate that they're all pretty much sloping up and maybe somewhere in this range out here, maybe down here somewhere, because of that parabolic type movement after the all-time high breakout. You do see Delta trying to push down here. Price is trying to accept below that low. If you do see a bigger push in the Delta, we may look to just get out. Like you can see right here, Delta not pushing up while price is trying to push up. This is the candle, and that's the Delta candle, right? If you look straight down through my crosshairs all the way down to the bottom, you can see we had a green candle but a red Delta. Now you're getting a red candle and a red Delta kind of creeping in, but now we're starting to get some green on it. Maybe we can hold this level. We want to see a 420. 420 will crack to the upside. If it does, then we should be still good. But like I said, 420 is going to be that psychological number that markets are going to play with. I think up to 600 is at least it's reasonable because of the measured move thought process on it, right? On something like this, right, you got here on a rally type day, you went 923 ticks, which is 230 points. I guess if we go here, 230 points is going to be right up there at 500. I wouldn't hate trailing every 100 points. That's not a terrible day. Catching that many ticks, it should all be about the ticks that you're catching, because your position sizing, obviously, like I said, it's always going to be different. We just kind of cracked below there. You did get a good delta push to the downside. Like I said, I think we're safe here for now, but I do believe any sort of flush of 400 probably drives us right back to the downside. We like I mentioned, we are giving back just a little bit of it. Pretty much sits us at break even for the day if we do get stopped. We're just shy of break even if we get stopped here. So, but this is how you have to trail that. You can't anticipate catching the top tick if you're not if you're trying to trail and maximize your gains, right? There's a chance you could top ticket, just like if something purely informational comes out that you're like, yeah, I got to get out now, hammer out, and then it melts from there. But really, if you want to see if you can maximize your profits on a trend, on a trail, you have to have some rules behind it, and they have to be structure-based and kind of idea-based here. So let's see if we can get another pop above 420, another pop above 420, and the break of this high, a good delta push to the high side still carries us on. I think 500 isn't unreasonable, 600 even, for the types of trends that happen in this market. With the S&P is still working on trying to push up. You know, they haven't really. We have 10 minutes left. I'm live, dog. Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking. Yeah, we're sitting in. It says that we're negative 145, but we're sitting 170 up right now on this move. We're trading a smaller size today because I was testing a new strategy. Oh, weird. Maybe because it happened at a weird time. I don't know. I started a little bit earlier today. I'm looking to see if 420 will crack above. If we could crack above 420, get one of these candles to push up higher, the delta to push up, we'll trail up into that 420 area just to secure a little bit more of this. If we can't make new highs here, then I will probably end up getting stopped out. But I think 400 needs to hold in order for this to continue on high side. We're giving back, about 60 ticks or so, which is a safe distance, I think, for a trend continuation type play. Like I said, I'm trading smaller today after taking a loss yesterday, after streaming hours, and the testing of this new Friday continuation strategy. I don't want to test that on a full size. I want to get it to help me out some by allowing me to let it breathe, trail it properly, understand where I want it to go, and doing that with a little bit smaller size allows you to kind of really test it out in a live environment. You still have money on the line, you still have all that, but it's not a full size, crazy loss if you don't correctly do it. All right, so we are making a new low here. 400 is ticked now a couple times. If we can get above here, 400 is going to be acting as our resistance. Let's see what these other names are doing right now. Nvidia looking to try and push up. Apple looking to push high side again. Maybe that was just the breather that it needed. What's Microsoft doing? If Microsoft's holding, it needs to get above 410. This is yesterday's high. So if we can get above that previous day high and hold, then I can see this continuing to rally to 412. Nvidia, I want Nvidia to 1,000. I think that's just obvious that it's going to happen because SMCI, not a big company, but boom, up in that $1,000 share valuation. Nvidia, AMD still pushing high side. Nvidia looking to kind of curl down. I need Microsoft to break 410 to continue us on upside. S&P is finally giving you a little topping tail on its 30-minute. We do have 7 minutes or so left on this candle, 6 minutes left. I wouldn't be surprised if we duck our head below 400, come back into that 382, and then try and continue on from there. If we get stopped out here, secure that profit. Obviously, you can't be mad at securing about 250 ticks. But I do anticipate more upside, so I will look to see if we come back into this zone here for a bounce and continuation on, because, like I said, on Fridays it seems like a continuation play likes to happen, especially on these all-time high breakout type moves. You're getting a little bit of a diminishing delta here, like a slow rollover, but price didn't follow through too much to the downside. So if you can crack above here, then you probably get some follow through, and you got to watch 420 because, like I said, I think traders are just immature adults who want to be kids who just love funny numbers. They like 420s, they like 69s, they like 666, they like even round numbers. That's where things like to turn around. So if you could think simple and stupid, sometimes that kind of plays to your advantage. holding 400, which is good for our follow through. Microsoft got above that level from yesterday. NVIDIA giving you a peak above. If we break above 420, I would anticipate Microsoft running to 412 at some point. It's Friday. I am doing my stream till about 11, and then I will be on Monday morning. That'll be my only stream for the week, I believe, for next week, because I got family coming in, so we're gonna do family stuff for the week. Gotta balance the family life with the trading life. I know we're building up a nice little base here. We'll see how we can do on Monday. If we can do a little bit of a giveaway come maybe Monday. If we can get up to 50 on Monday, I'll do a little giveaway. I'll figure out what I'm going to do. Get up to 50 viewers on Monday. And then if we could hold that viewership after the lack of streaming for the rest of the week, we'll definitely do something bigger. So it'll be really appreciated. I love that we have a bigger base, this week. I know Deck is away, so it does help us out some, but also at the same time, I like to provide some value to everybody. Even when he is here or other streamers are around, don't be afraid to stop by, come in, participate in the chat. I think we are providing some value here. We did call this move out for the all-time high breakout continuation Friday type trade idea. It has been working out for the last few weeks, months. So we wanted to be a part of it this time. So we kind of front ran it some with the opening range breakout. And then now that we're above the all-time highs, or making new all-time highs and new all-time highs and new all-time highs, we're going to continue to just trail this out and see if we can get a little bit of a banger of a move. I mean, we're up 300 ticks. So that's, that's hard to beat, right? If we can do that now on a day-to-day basis, you're not going to catch a move like this every single time. But, you catch one or two of these or one a week and then just minimize your downside days. You'll be very, very happy. You got to do this consistently with the same size. However, you can't just do it what I did where I drew down yesterday and now I'm just trying to chip back and test new strategies and kind of work on some stuff on this Friday. Fridays usually are a tougher day anyway. Like I said, because they're max pain type day. They want to go into the weekend knowing that they screwed over as many people as possible. So I'm joining in on the trend of screwing people over into the weekend. Screwing over the shorts, I should say, not people. I love people. Some people. Right now, we're just holding this. We have our stop at a good location. Like I said, I think that 420 level is going to be pretty important. If we could get above 420, NVIDIA is rallying, so 1,000, come on. Could be in the cards today. If Microsoft could get going with this market going up a little bit, Microsoft should get up to that 412. Apple continuing its push to the high side. I said once we broke up above 170, it is bullish. Microsoft is bullish above 406, so everything above 410 should be gravy for you. NVIDIA is still rallying, so nothing telling you to get out yet. You're above 420 now, so this should give you either a continuation or a failure here, and Apple give you a nice push. So still just nothing saying get out. The only thing saying that potentially is that the delta isn't pushing new highs while price is trying to push new highs. However, it is a strong delta. It is pushing up nicely, congruent with the price. So I think we pushed up, we based out. We're looking for another rally, right? We're looking for a measured type move. That's about, let's call it 100 points there. So base 100 points there. If you're not going to get 100 out of it, I still think 500. That 500 level could get touched. Apple pushing, NVIDIA pushing still. Microsoft. I need Microsoft to play along with this. S&P is still doing its thing. I think it gets up to 200. It's at 5190 right now. It's only needs about 10 points, 9 points. 5191. It only needs 9 points to get to that 5200 level, which was I believe was like not that it was a long shot call, but that was a call by, I think, JP Morgan or somebody recently. I won't buy up here at this point. I'm really just trailing out. I'm going to just maximize this. What if I... My idea for today pretty much would be to be done after this trade. But, I mean, realistically, I would hope to just never be out. I would hope that by the time I have to leave for work, I'm trailing this up into that 500, up into 600, and I'm just following my trailing rules here. Base, breakout. As you get the breakout, trail on pullbacks, and just kind of leave it. In theory, if you were some sort of like, there's a couple people's strategies are just add as you go up, and every, as your risk is covered, add another one. As your risk is covered, add another one. As your risk is covered, add another one. And that just builds you into a big. Those are people who are looking for a little bit longer term of a move, who aren't really looking to get, and then they'll get out like at a predetermined, not a predetermined point, but like an idea, a strategy of getting out. But right now, I'm just testing this one out. I gotta sneeze and it doesn't want to go. Right now, like I said, no buying anything else. I'm not gonna add any contracts on here. You could above 420. You see these wicks here, but you do have Delta pushing nicely. So Delta pushing nice above 420. Price pushing back down. This might be just trying to get some stops tagged at 420 to run us back high side. If that's the case, if we break above these highs, 420 is going to be the stop, like I said. For one micro contract to net you, upwards of 200, get close to $200 on a trade. That's a good move, right? A micro is 1/10 of a mini contract, so the micro 1/10, you times this by 10, and that's your normal profit. So that should be, today, like I said, normally I'm trading one mini. This could be that, but also the same deal. Instead of being down 145, we could be down a lot bigger, right? Because I wouldn't have had the room to give it to allow this trade to play out. And so far, so good. We're doing a good job of trailing. Just doing our best to avoid just banging out just because. The only thing, like I said, I'm considering is this delta. Is this delta going to help us or hurt us? Right? It's acting in concert with price. So if we start to push down to that low, that 89, I would be careful. But if we try to get to the 89 in price and delta's still up here, price will probably look to rotate back up through 420 again. I think on Fridays, you get a lot of people trying to catch tops to short into the weekend, maybe trying to take profits. And market makers say, no, we're going to just keep making this thing go up high, and we're just going to keep burning you and burning you and burning you. So the last few times it's happened, I haven't played along. This time I'm trying to be part of that market maker idea. So 400 looks like it wants to get touched. You can see now I'm going to be careful. I'll probably end up getting stopped out on this if it does break through this low. If you get a good bounce from here, then that continuation should carry on. Microsoft, once again, trying to break down from 410. NVIDIA giving you a little bit of a pullback. Apple also curling downside some, but I think maybe you get one more push up. This time, if we get above 420 before we get stopped out, we're going to look to pull this trail up a bit, because this could have been a failed breakout, get some people involved to short them out, or stop them out below and then run us up to the highs. Jamon. Some people do look to play like, let's say I have more than one micro on, right? We'll call it 5. 5 is half of a mini. Let's say I had 5 on. I took 2 off at the break of the all-time high, which would be silly because that's what I was looking for it to happen. So let's say I took 2 off at the base here. So I have 3 on as we run up to 420, maybe take 2 off. So I have 1 on now. And then as I start to do this sort of dance, maybe add 2 here and then take 2 off at the top. And then, you know, just kind of play with the position some, because you still have that one main core position, but you would leave your stop down, that initial stop all the way at the low, to see if you could continue this to the upside. So really what I'm looking to do here, if I get stopped out below right here, right now, you see Delta pushing through the low, price not pushing through the low, so maybe we'll get a divergence and a pop, but it looks like Delta wants to push, so price will probably push down. If it doesn't, then that's a good sign for our long to continue. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. Nope, we're out. So we're out for 120 on that. So we're down about $40. 20 bucks. 25 bucks. That was a good trade there. Really happy with the management of it. Everything. You can see Delta really pushing downside. There was no reason to hold on to that any longer. Possibly could look to rotate all the way down. Once you're down below 400, I was mentioning above 420. This kind of looked to me like it wanted to pull back, but you want to give it that space to continue on. We will look to maybe potentially get one more in on a bounce, maybe a flush of that 75, look to push it back up after it rotates back down, but I'm not going to force it right now. We're down 120 to 25. Oop. So that was a good trade there. Really, really happy with the execution on it. We played the break above this little wedge here, and then anticipating a break above the opening range high. Once we broke the opening range high, the reason we were looking at that was because the S&Ps were burning through that all-time high, the all-time high that it made yesterday even. So it was above all-time highs prior. It was above yesterday's high, which is all-time highs. And NASDAQ was just lagging. And then we looked over at the Russell, the SPYs, the Qs. The only one was down was the Qs. So ideally, you want to play the one that's lagging to the opposite, to the end that the other 3 are going. So we looked to grab this through the all-time high, which we did. We just pulled back right to that all-time high level, which was 78. We wicked it. Now we're turning back around. Like I said, I wanted to see that happen to get a healthy continuation, but I didn't want to risk, down even into break even for this to continue high side. We were up 300 plus ticks. We secured 250 ticks. So 250 ticks at a time. That's going to keep this strategy going. I'm not going to force this in now. I'm going to let it kind of set up on me again. Any orders out there? I just want to make sure there's no other orders out there. Good. Just got to watch the hold now, see if it will. Watch what Apple, NVIDIA, you see NVIDIA gave you that big push downside. Never really made it any further, but I did say it was going to give you like about an $8, $4 to $8 push to the high side. We got from 60, we'll call it 59 to 73. So yeah, you can do the math. $13. So 8 to it was more than the move that I expected. And that 420 level, I tell you, markets are immature. Right to 420. And these are zones, right? Like I mentioned, over and over and over again. It is 420 to 430 is that zone that it was playing with. But obviously you could see the sell-off happen at 420, right? 420, 420, 420 here, 420 here, 420 there. Boom, boom, boom. Wicket, rotate down. Now we're going to watch, be mindful, see if we can get one more good move. So this is also what's interesting about that, right? You had those touches here, higher, low, bounce, run. Now we bounced off of it, flushed that bounce, and we're rotating back downside now. There is a chance, like I said, you could rotate back up. NVIDIA looking to hold 959. Apple pulling back some, but 170 is that bullish point. And Microsoft, I want to see, it did not hold 410. So it got up to 410 and rejected, but we are in a consolidation zone from yesterday, down into, let's call it 408.50. I'll be mindful of a bounce at 408.50 if you want to play the trend line game. Same type of crack that we got in the NQs, but just watch that level now because it's there. See if it'll bounce. Just add and add and add. So let's see now. Price made really nice lows, broke through this previous low here. Delta pushed down. We got good price action going upside. Resistance, 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 resistance. Broke through support. Is it going to support it, support it, support it? Or is it going to flush it? Or is it going to just bounce right here, right now, and never look back? Like I mentioned, Fridays tend to be continuation days. We are in a bullish continuation at the moment. So I'm going to use that as the trend line right there. The bodies of those candles. And we're going to see what happens. Maybe we get a little bit of a failure up into here and then a rotation down. Or a continuation push through up into 500. We did wick that on the 30-minute. Might wait till 10 just to see what this 30-minute candle, hourly candle close does do. But I'm also mindful of this. Potential bounce right here with the risk below the wick here. I want to see another wick down, but a higher low. And then I want to go off that higher low on a break above 382. And yes, the previous all-time high is 378, which is here, 378 and a quarter. But I like the way that held there at 380. You're not getting a big delta push up yet, so I don't know if this is the actual candle where it's going to bounce. Then there's a chance that it flushes. No, now you're starting to get a push. If we get back up into here and delta doesn't make it back into that area, it's pretty much that yellow line there, then this is slightly diverged and a potential short opportunity from that 420-ish level. But you can see breaking down, like I said, delta didn't really kind of break through as well as I would have expected. We made all-time highs. We have held this now. This is starting to act as a resistance level. I did say if we make a higher low here, then potentially longs come back in above 382. But now I think a higher low, break above 382 should suffice as a long idea. You limit your risk to the downside. You can go with 2 micros on it. Just to get yourself back to 420. I want a wick. I want a hard wick return, bounce, delta not play to the downside, and then a run up. And I want Apple and I want Nvidia to bounce. I want Microsoft to bounce. Yeah, everything's bouncing. 9:44 a.m. Like I said, we could get into some chop here. I wanted to see that wick. It didn't kind of come in, but the delta is playing now more to the high side. So I will go long right here and risk to the low. 2 micros this time. I'll take one off at the highs if we get there. As soon as I hit that, it's regretful. There's the wick down that I wanted to see. I wanted to see it get through here first, but kind of not in the right spot. So we're out on that. That was a silly move there. Hammered in on 2. I wanted to see this wick happen first, which we did not get. So now we're going to get it, and now we can look to see if we can rotate it back up. Down 100 now again. Fun. Oh, I hate when it doesn't do that. Space. Okay. Oh, now there's a good flush. That's actually really nice. A failure of that overnight high, that breakdown. Oh, what are these other names doing right now? Microsoft breaking, NVIDIA breaking down below 959. VWAP targeted. That could hold now. Delta really pushed down hard there. There was a big seller there. Good thing we got out when we did. Could wick this and push up higher. That could just be a trap. I think above 382 we should be safe to go long. Stompy feet, I hear you. S&P's that all-time high prior, like the breakout point was 179 and a quarter. So any sort of push above here should give you a nice little rally. Like this should be a stop run right there. I'm just giving you that idea if it does come into play to kind of catch that piece. I like the break above there for the pressure to come in, the buying pressure. You know, you do have this little bit of a trend line thing that's happening here that was acting as support. I think if we get above here, we do continue on. Get rid of this because it's just distracting. If we hold this and continue to rotate down, then there may be some continuation, but VWAP holding us up. We're above VWAP. NVIDIA is still holding that 959, 960 level. Microsoft holding that 409 and catching a little bit of a bounce. What we got here? Look at the bounce here. A break. We're holding above now that all-time high level. That's 78 and a quarter. We're looking to pop above that. If we can pop above that 78 and a quarter, then you get the pump. But this could be that inside setup here. So let's just be careful with that too, to the downside. Do you see this delta rolling now, making new lows? Price pushing downside. Looks like it kind of wants to keep going down. If we get a higher low here, that'll be helpful. A higher low in price, trying to make new lows in delta. That divergence is also a play that I like to do. So anything above 382, you see that wick right onto 382. I think if we can get above there, 382, I'll play that long. Like I said, my entry above 386, just give it a little bit of room. Microsoft actually breaking down that 409. NVIDIA broke down 959. Actually, going to look to see if these names don't hold that level. Then we're going to look to eyeball a short. See if Apple pushes up at all. If Apple is still rolling down, Apple's holding up better than some of these other names. Microsoft now rotating downside some. You can see Microsoft cracking through that low. This is just like an arbitrary trend line that I drew, but it was holding up. So we'll watch it. NVIDIA cracking through from that pre-market rally, now down to the downside, closed the gap at 946.50, which it did pretty much on the overnight, and that's what it rallied from. Well, pre-market. I keep calling it the overnight. It's pre-market. I want Microsoft to just catch a bid. Apple needs to continue its rally. Goog, Amazon, Meta. Let's see what happens with NVIDIA. Microsoft, a little bit of a wick. Oh, we are not long, we're flat. I gotta put that, change that. High or low. Price is starting to speed up a bit here at this location. You can see that. You can see it ticking around. I got 3 minutes till I can't take a trade, but it looks like it wants to get me involved in this for some reason. If it doesn't, if it dumps down, then we're going to be avoiding that for the moment. NVIDIA gave you a big wick there. If it gets above 959, the bullishness is coming in. You can see buyers starting to step in. That's where I want to see. I want to see buyers starting to step in at these levels. If we crack above this previous all-time high, that's what we need to see get broken. Like I said, I'm going in with 2. NVIDIA looking to curl back up. Trying it, fighting it, 78 and a quarter. If that cracks again, it breaks, it should give you some buy side pressure once again, because it should be that over all-time high, came down, played with the lower levels, trying to accept below it, fail it, make a higher high. I mean a higher low, stay above VWAP, stay above that opening range high, and see now if we crack through here and hold and break, that's what we want to be a part of. We want to do it above 82 because, like I said, I think 82 is a good resistance level there, and it acted as a good resistance on that wick. Microsoft is selling actually now, but NVIDIA is not. NVIDIA is bouncing. NVIDIA faltering, still not breaking that, not holding that old previous all-time high, but as we do push up to it, Delta does tick up, so there are people who are interested in buying that level. This is sort of why I didn't get involved in a long right there, just because I thought it was going to dance some. I want to get through it, and I want to break through, and I want it to have some buy-side pressure pretty much immediately. 54. I have 1 minute till I can't get involved in this. So if it triggers me in prior to that, so be it. That's just where we're at. Delta is pushing up higher. Creeping, starting to build. Breaking above 82. And we are in long now. 2 contracts. Let's see if it'll rally. Microsoft tried to bid up a little bit there. There we go, a little bit of a pop. I'll say long 2. We are long 2 MNQ at 18,386. Come on, NVIDIA, get above that 959, 960 level. That'll help us out here. Well, markets will probably help it too. The NQ rally. Higher low. Break above all-time high. We've been doing that for weeks, and we're seeing if we could just play it again off of this same level, acting as support, right? It was resistance here, acting as support. See if we could act as support again and run up high side. If not, if it flushes, then this is going to be a resistance area to be watching for later on in the day. But I think, reasonably speaking, all-time highs, breakouts, Fridays, continuations seem to be the thing. We just flipped our point of control, which is something that I'm cautious on. You know, price has now spent most of its time here. Let's see if it'll get above. Well, actually, it's still down there, but it's close. Microsoft catching a little bit of a pop, NVIDIA not, just sitting there. But NVIDIA not breaking down hard from this area does help our cause as well. We're looking to just play levels here. That's why we're here. We're here to execute on levels, and if things don't play out our way, they don't play out our way. But when they do, they should play out very nicely. We were really patient on our trail here, which is really great. We maximized our gain on that. Now this time we're looking to see if we can get above this 390. We should get some more buying pressure. There should be some stops right here to get run. We have value area up into 400. 400 should be tagged again. And then you might think, hey, what are they going to do at 400? Do they want to sell at 400? Or are there buyers up there that want to get filled and run us up? So I'm going to go to the surface. You can see right here at 400, there's a guy flashing 65, flashing, this is for the full micro, 400, flashing 74. So it keeps coming on there and disappearing. So they're trying to show a sell there, but I think they're just flashing it to get the price to draw into it. And you can see right there, pushing right up into it. Price kind of disappeared. That seller's not there anymore. So let's see. We can get some more push to this. We should get above 400. Let's see if we can hold above 400 now. That's going to be my idea level of interest. I don't want to trail yet. I'm not really comfortable trailing, but I want to leave it not below that previous all-time high. We shouldn't come back to that. NVIDIA looking to push above 959. Can we get back to highs? Microsoft also pushing highs. Apple, I'm getting, is pushing upside, which is good. NVIDIA, come on now through that 959. Let's get there. Microsoft. And let's see, NVIDIA on that chart there. NVIDIA pushing down. Damn, dude. Let's see if 78 will hold. If 78 doesn't hold, we're going to get stopped on this. If 78 does hold, then we're going to look to run up and trail our stop up and through break even if we can get this as a bid, as a liquidity grab. But you do see Delta pushing kind of hard. I want to see Delta move with price. So if price can push up, I want to see Delta push up. That 82 level, like I said, resistance, flush. We popped above it. Now we're acting as resistance again. If it breaks that level, then this comes down hard probably. At 78 is that all-time high level. It is 10 o'clock now, so our move's probably done. Yeah, we're out on that if it does break. Yeah, we're out flat. God damn. Down 183. Oh, 200. Nope. 2, honey. Alrighty. Just gotta wait now. See, that's what happens. I sized up and canceled out the nice win that we had there. But there's the higher low. NVIDIA, Microsoft, still pushing lows. It's 10 o'clock. You're up, and then you're down. You're up in this here, $50. Kind of let that move against you some. 10 o'clock, we got an hour left in the week. Try not to force too much in. Down about 200 on the day. Another kind of grindy day for me. We did make a really good. So we kind of chopped ourselves in the beginning, but we made a really good choice here to enter into this long. We caught about 250 ticks on that, which was really nice. We trailed our stop out down into here. We saw this moving up. We trailed right below this wick. As we broke the highs, we said that 400 shouldn't get reclaimed, which it did, and now you're starting to see that downside push. So we'll see if we can see what happens at VWAP here. It does seem like that 57 level is going to flush some, so we don't want to play at VWAP. I don't like playing at VWAP. So we're going to get rid of this. This is useless. This here is also not in my best interest, but you do see it kind of acting there as that resistance. Back to the opening range high. Going to be watching this, seeing if we can get this to get a bounce. Delta congruent to the downside move here. Microsoft down, NVIDIA down. Oh yeah, that was a nice little crack there. Apple pushing downside. Now that we've reaccepted into the opening range, you could possibly look to see if this will short down through the bottom. But you do have this support here. If that cracks, then downside we go. 315 is that level that I was trying to short before. We're right at it now. That was a really nice short. Hot damn. Oh, NVIDIA's still dumping. Microsoft. NVIDIA's got nowhere to go but down at the moment, it seems. Bounced off at 18.3 again. This was our original entry point here. Possibly looking to see if it'll hold one more time or if it's going to break and fail to the downside. S&P's previous all-time high that it was trying to hold was that 179 area. It just broke down below it, so 177, 176. Never quite made it up to that 5,200. Now we're starting to curl downside. Seems like it wants to go negative on the day. Don't see any news or anything that should be driving it. Apple curling up a bit now. NVIDIA, look at that melt. The next support in NVIDIA is 929.41 down into 24.80. Is this a bounce or is this a failure? Apple is the only thing that's up right now. I'm watching 300. Low of the day break or a bounce. I'm not trying to chase this now that it's pushing downside. S&P is still holding above that 157, which is that all-time high there. So if any sort of bounce happens, then NQs should catch some little bit of a bid. Microsoft didn't break down as hard as NVIDIA broke down. You can see NVIDIA flushed that low right into that support area that I was mentioning right there, right just above it. 928, 930 is a psychological number for round numbers, flat 30 level. But I think we'll see what happens here. If we can reclaim above, it may be a bounce. It might be a false breakdown, hold that 300 and then bounce 300. Or if it flushes 300, then you're out off to the race to the downside. That pre-market level right there, 275, was where the open of the NFP number was. So we're attempting to almost cancel out that entire move, which would push us all the way down into the low of that move, which is 200. So 300 to 200 is a 100-point move. 315. We're not long. Flat. Patience, patience, patience. Just dragging ourselves down a little bit. That's a wick that I like to see. Maybe we get a hold back above 20, 23.75, 25. We are below VWAP, so we are being cautious with that. It is still curling upside, so there is, I mean, it's flat for the most part, but 315 flushing. $300 now. Another touch of 300. Not a lower low. Delta trying to creep down. Did not make new lows on Delta, but now trying to creep through and now making new lows. So it is acting in confluence. 290 tagged. Now that 290 level is going to be eyeballing it. Microsoft, so let's put that up on the screen. Microsoft has to 406.18, like I said, to stay bullish, but it could bounce from there or flush it completely. I was looking to short that right there. I didn't jump in on it, and there you go. Oh, good thing I sized down on the day because I'm just in that kind of mental gymnastics state of mind at the moment. Got an hour to go on the day. Just about. I appreciate everybody coming by on a Friday night, on Farm Friday. Always an adventure. Interesting. Very interesting. Do we come back into 300? If we come back into 300, we see if it's going to give us a short opportunity. If we get up into there and we don't get a delta push to the high side, then there could be a chance that we continue to rotate back down, leaving these highs at the highs and rotating back to that overnight low, which is this point right here, which I should have there. And this overnight high was right there. So Microsoft still rolling some. NVIDIA trying to catch a bounce at 920. Like I said, we had down from 930 down to 922-ish. We flushed right to 921, 920.98, and bounced right off of it. So if we can get a hold above 930, maybe it starts to rotate back up. NVIDIA is a monster. I don't think it's ready to stop climbing yet, and any sort of rebound in NVIDIA kind of drives everything else upside. And Apple was pushing higher, but now it's giving you that double top type play to kind of flush it back down to the downside, probably down to that 170.29 breakout point. If that's the case, then maybe we rotate all the way down with this NQ, or this could just be a Max Payne type day where they just fuck around with everybody's trades. Delta creeping up. We are at like a pretty... So the way Microsoft looks like it wants to work, that 407.34, even the open rally point at 407.20, 407 even, really that's going to be a really important level to watch, because that's going to make it either go red or green. See if we can hold above this now. We'll see what happens at 300. If it gets and holds above 300, then this trend line possibly look to break above it. 315 puts us back into the green, I believe, because right now we're negative on the day, 0.16%. So we get back up into here and up and rallying through. Could lead you to a long. Anything where 300 comes into play gives you some sort of wick. Delta doesn't kind of push up any further. That rotation back to the downside still in play as well. 238 even. Looks like a good target to me. And then also down into the overnight lows at 210. The wick bottom from the NFP initial push to the downside. So I'm just kind of watching these levels, making mental note. Just been hitting a nice little string of. We hit a really good trade there, and then we canceled it out with a couple of not oversized, but a size back up. And took a couple losses on it. I didn't size up huge. I went up just one more micro, but just kind of canceled out that that move that we did so well on. Let's see now. For me to want to fade levels, I want to see this push downside. Obviously, Delta is trying to act first. If you get another rejection, to fail and rotate higher. We never made it to 300 to try and short that area. But also at the same time, if this gives you a hard delta push, and you can see buyers coming in, buyers coming in, buyers coming in. Then you rotate up. That attempt here at 400 kind of ruined that there, because we should have been at even on that one. That's just on me for trying to play a breakout and have it go. This is the initial breakdown low here at 252 to 254. Delta making new lows, price not making new lows. Maybe there's a buyer here. At the moment, I'm not trying to get in front of it. Want to see more of this, maybe even down to here. Then you start to get a higher high, higher low, and then maybe we get back into that above 300. That's when you start to go take it to the long side. Congruent delta pushing to the downside further, kind of confirming that this move is going to continue for now. Doesn't mean it definitely will, but it's giving you more information on that. Sellers are coming in at the low. Microsoft, oh man, Nvidia is broken now. Nvidia really fucked us on this, huh? This was support yesterday. If it does continue to crack, then down into 906.01, 900 even for Nvidia could be an interesting play. That's a wild ride for the Nvidia people. $238 incoming. A break of 238. There it is. Do we get down to 210 now? I gotta let this thing set up on something. I'm gonna just let it kind of grind its way downside now. Fridays, like I said, normally a trend day, kind of gave up that trend. Now it's trending the opposite direction. Flipped around on us at like 9-ish. 9:10, 9:20-ish. Tough week so far this week. We'll kind of come back next week. We're going to trade Monday. Try and get our streams up. Like I said, next bit of viewers at 50 viewers, we'll be doing another giveaway. So I'm hoping to get as many people as I can on here on Monday. And then the rest of the week, I know we're building on some momentum. But like I said, family's coming in. And I'm not going to be probably on for the remainder of the week. Give myself a mental break as well. Hopefully I can come in on Monday, hammer out a couple good trades for you guys, call out some good levels. The levels here have been great. We talked through this entire move here. We were talking about why we took this, why we took some of these shorts, why the ideas came into play, why I thought that this was probably going to end up being the stalling point here at 420. And then eventually, obviously, that was where the shorts came in. And now we're rotating back down all the way to lows. So we're going to see what happens down here at the lows. Are we going to continue on, or is it going to be more of a range pound type day where we can rotate back up into, maybe 300 and beyond there. I am getting an idea here for a long, but it needs to kind of maybe push down one more time since I've already missed the idea, but really it hasn't been too much. It's like the same up here. I wanted to see more of a base fail breakdown and then a rally, less likely than this, because right now you're looking at that. I don't need this anymore, even though that was a good line there. This one seems to be working out for as far as resistance is concerned. That's whippy. NVIDIA trying to creep its head back above 916. It got right down to 906.01, bouncing. What's the risk on this right here? 72. Resistance. Broke through, came back, acted as support one time only, ripped up, and then failed. Once this thing failed and rolled down below there, you kind of see that just continuing on to the downside. S&P's still holding above that 5157.75, so that's still all-time high bullish kind of idea. We did just break down the 170 level, so if we can reclaim 170, then maybe this starts to rotate back higher, which is yesterday's high. Yesterday's high in the NQs is up in this range here where we just rejected from. So I would be interested if we can get back to that. If this, and I'm going to watch the S&Ps. S&Ps seem to have been leading us. So if it still continues to push down through 165.25, then maybe 157 gets reclaimed. NVIDIA bouncing some. Microsoft still just holding that 407, 408 level. Apple catching a little bit of a rally, but at the high end of a little wedge pattern. Oh, fucking exhausted. Sorry about that. Need more coffee. I'm not trying to chase this down. I'm not trying to force in anything. I'm just being a little bit patient, trying to get back maybe that one good trade here to put myself back in a better position moving forward on Monday, resetting myself. NVIDIA now still trying to hold that for 916. It's trying to hold and just failing it again. That was support yesterday. 915.82, so it's kind of breaking that down again. You can see it right here. NVIDIA just flirting with that level, and that level is that support level from yesterday. So if it's not going to bounce here, then that flush down continues through the lows of yesterday, potentially into the pre-market lows below 906.01 and beyond. But hoping that this can hold here, give us a reason to hold. Apple can give us a reason to hold. Microsoft still above 406.18 for now. If it pushes down again, then we'll see more downside pressure on these markets. The overnight low is looking at tag. Let's see if the overnight low will give us any sort of entry idea or if it's going to flush and break down. There's that break of 915. That support level is cracked. And Microsoft looking to break down as well some. Like I said, 407.21, you get a little bit of a bounce, but that's just more of like a low basing pattern. If you can get this base to crack the low side, you probably get some momentum push down below 407.20 and beyond through the lows. If not, then you get that bounce and that rally up through the high and back up to 409. If you start to get that curl in these names, then the market will start to curl as well. That 18,238 level was pretty good support once, twice. This is the third time, but this is a really hard push to the downside. So I do anticipate maybe a little bit further of a retracement on it. $220. Let's see what happens at 220. I'll just take the coffee. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Nothing better than some fresh Joe. Apple breaking highs while the market's breaking lows. Such disconnect. I am watching this bounce area at 920. I want to get to the overnight low and see if I can take a bounce play off the overnight low. Could easily just flush right through to that 160. But we got right to 220 and we are bouncing. It is holding as support. 238 now attempting to hold. So this is where I'm interested in along. I will place a feeler out there at that level. And I'll place a bounce play idea here. Oh, no, not sell stop. I'm going to wait till it gets below that overnight low and then give it a little bit of an opportunity to flush it and then come back up. That's really what my thought on that is. Delta is pushing down nice. So we just did break that overnight low. Do we hold it or do we reject? Microsoft pushing down. NVIDIA also still pushing downside. So I am going to be a little cautious on it. Let it give it a little bit more room to the downside before I decide to throw that buy stop in there. Oh, God. I hate when that happens. Snapping to screens. This market's going with NVIDIA. It really has no care on anything else because Apple wicked the highs and went. NVIDIA now pushing down even lower. So it's been propped up with NVIDIA. It'll go with NVIDIA to the downside, obviously. You see that break. If you would have played that breakdown, if we would have played that breakdown from the top, you know, hindsight being 2020, fantastic trade, but really just kind of being, thinking about it in that time frame, it did make some more sense. Let's see if we can get back above that. Microsoft's got a long wick to the high side, looking to break down that 422, 407. No, 407.57. Look at that thing, flushing that overnight low. S&P's just tagged that 157.75, so I need to see if it's going to bounce off that all-time high, that previous all-time high level, or if it's going to dump from here and continue on to the downside for the rest of the day. As the S&P goes, so does the NQ today. So we're going to be very cautious at this level, 157.75. I will play the long through the 210 if that bounce comes in on 175. Yeah, I'll give it one shot at it because you're not risking a ton. There's a lot of points, 196 below 200. No, Nvidia wants to go to 900. Just broke 900. Look at that thing go. Look at it go. Yeah, no need to be involved in that. Wow, look at that thing sell off. What a day. Nvidia went from 974 to 890. Looking to try and go $100, 970 to 870. Today, the markets over the last few weeks have been giving me a frustrating ride, and I think that's a lot of people for sure. With every single week we get those, flatten that. We don't want any of those orders out there. Every single week we've been getting those breakouts of all-time highs, and it just continues on and continues on and continues on. We diverged. We got the good follow-through. We took an excellent trade here. Took it with one contract, and, it was a great trade. We got chopped a little here and chopped a little here. Ended up drawing ourselves back down to 2. But, nothing over outsized. At the same time, this dump was not anticipated as far as the way price action has been acting on Fridays, and but it's been due, so can't say it hasn't been due. We're right here at this low from yesterday's post-market flush, so there is a bounce point here at 160. I'll give you that. Just playing the zone on a bounce. Yeah, Apple has this strength in it that is going to help this little bit of a bounce. Because if any of these other names catch a bounce, Apple's going to go right through to highs. I'm going to just be leaving that into break even. Let's see if we can get this thing to bounce some, or if it's going to flush us again. My eye is twitching. The anger. Give in to your anger. Give in to your... Microsoft pushing. Took that long from the bottom based on yesterday's flush, based on our 160 zone here, 150, 160. This was the flush from yesterday. We had a little bit there. If we can get up into the 210, which we just did, we're at break even now. So I'm going to watch this, see if the overnight low will hold or if it's going to break above. Hopefully we can get some break above here. Apple, Nvidia. I need Nvidia to give me a little pop. Microsoft. Giving you that rally a little bit. I need this to hold above that overnight low. If we can get above there and hold, at 1, I'll probably throw my stop there. just to secure some of this gain back, that loss that we made before. You shouldn't trade your P&L. Don't do what I'm doing. But below 200, nope, didn't hold. I needed to hold. Needed to hold up there. Hold. NVIDIA catching a bounce. It can get through 900. Then this will go. There it goes. NVIDIA through 900. All right. Stops below 198. Below 200. So if it comes down through 200, then fine. Could be max pain type day. No, NVIDIA failed 9. Probably catch this. Get stopped here. There we go. Took a little bit off there. $44 down 160. Oh, Evernote. Could have left the stop at the low, but I'm securing some of the profits on the follow through. We are down 160. All right. Nice little catch there on the bounce. I might look to catch a little bit more of it in a minute. I just want to let this thing confirm above that area. It's confirming now with some. Microsoft NVIDIA is now holding above 900. So overnight low bounce. I want to see this now maybe pull back here again one more time, and then we could get an inside push up. That was an excellent entry down here. Could have just left it alone. However, we definitely need to secure some monies. I need to see what happens now up in this area. You can see that this held. If you hold that area, those are the wicks. If you use the wicks, then we got to hold here. But I'm gonna use the bodies. So it looks like we're holding that. Anything above 233 here should set off some stops. You look at Microsoft ticking upside, Apple now selling off, but the market's not doing what Apple wants it to do, so it really kind of doesn't matter. It was what was holding us up some, so I would be careful if it does start to pour downside once again. If Apple is doing this, then the rest of the market may continue to follow it. You can see if NVIDIA can just stay above 900. 238 is the line in the sand, I think. Soft. Microsoft. If we hold this here below this area, then potentially look to short through 200. NVIDIA holding 900. 10:40. About 20 minutes left in the stream. We've made some good calls. This even here was pretty good. I like this move here, this bounce play. I do think there is still room to the upside for it, especially with NVIDIA reclaiming 900. Apple rolling over some, though, is concerning because if it does fail this breakout and start to roll over, and then you get these other names to start to continue the downside, then this continues down. But 38 is that level that I was considering before as an interesting point. So I'm going to watch 38s. you are starting to get the delta to continue to push in the same direction as price. So let's just use that to our advantage here. We did wick. No, we didn't quite make it to 232. That's the top end of that candle here. This breakdown candle possibly has stops right above it. Could run those stops real quick and then try and short us. Apple broke. We're in a downtrend. We are failing to try and really make a new high here. If we fail the overnight low one more time with Apple rolling over, and if Nvidia can also roll some back down to 900, Microsoft is still pushing downside. With Nvidia at 9, if it breaks 900 again, then this market has another leg to the downside, and that leg at least is to 145. Potentially down into 18,072, 18,124. Microsoft, another look to break down, sort of a head and shoulders type deal here. See if it runs these stops above 232 and then gives you a sell from 238. If the 30-minute candle can hold above 238, if you close above 238 around 11 o'clock, that's hourly, then maybe you get a turn around to start to be long. But with all these names now, Microsoft breaking, if Apple is breaking as well, looking to push down, Nvidia is the last defender, and the last defense is 900. If you get a push down of 900, then this market will continue to the downside. You do have a little bit of a flattened out delta. Price is trying to push up. You're not getting a lot of new buyers coming here. I think that heaviness is scaring some people out, so it may give you a little bit of a pop. Like I said, anything of a pop over here, 238, maybe a failure of that rotates us down. But 915.82 for Nvidia coming back in. That was the support that got flushed and now is going to see if it's going to act as resistance or if it's going to break and then just become support again, which is kind of based on some of these other names with Apple and Microsoft kind of rolling. They kind of anticipate maybe a break. Something tells me it's not going to be as clean as that being a bottom candle for the Nvidia. Give me 1 second. I'm going to use the bathroom and then we'll finish off the stream. All right, it's going to act as resistance there. Microsoft breaking, NVIDIA coming up into a spot where it was right yesterday. Support, 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 support. Broke through it today with ease. Now came right back into it, acting as resistance. Any sort of downturn here should include some more selling. I want to be down and short through 200. I didn't want to be involved on that initial breakdown there because I don't trust it necessarily to go right away. I want to see a confirmation breakdown below. Delta is pushing down harder, so now we are starting to get a little bit of a push. It's just that 200 is a psychological number, so I want to see if it'll crack. There's a push. That's a push. That's a push. Looking like it's going to get heavy here. There we go. NVIDIA broke a little bit. So now we should see an hour and Q's break. Got to 199 and a quarter. See, that's why I'm a little bit more below it because I didn't want to just be whipped in, whipped out, and then it go. I want to see this, maybe wick in. Some people now stop them out a little bit, come up to that overnight low, and then try and break down again and then go. That's the kind of dance that NVIDIA does. I mean, that the NASDAQ does at times. So that's what I like to kind of play. Microsoft pushing down still. NVIDIA looking to break. There we're short now. See if it'll follow through this time. If we break our lows, then we're going to be our stop above 170. That was patience. We waited for that manipulation, the breakdown, and then we're looking to see if it'll continue now. We need to see NVIDIA break through 900. If NVIDIA breaks through 900, we should rotate all the way through the lows. And if we can get through these lows here, like I said, I'm going to put my stop to 170. And then from 170, we're going to just trail this down a bit. I'm hoping to see if we can get this crack to continue to push us. 900 is right here right now. We're at 902. I waited for that final confirmation of a break of 200 so we would get the price to move in our direction. We're going to be at break even now at 170. If we get a bounce from 170 and we stop out, that's fine. We are in a free trade. So now we just let it go. Let's see if we can get through the lows. Like I said, I don't want to see any hard bounce on NVIDIA. I want to see this NVIDIA just continue to crack and break. It broke 900 again. It needs to hold 900. Any sort of flush at 900. Continue this down to 877.05. That should push us down into these lows. 18,000 area of interest. It was down here, 18,072. Can we turn this day around on one good trade here? We need to crack the low of 150 to be at 170. You know what? We're going to be at just above 170. We're at 174. We're going to hold above. There we go. We broke down 150. So I'm going to put my stop just above that 170 of this candle. So if this candle doesn't hold, then we'll be out, but we'll at least secure a good little piece of the profit on it. I am a scalper, so I am trying to catch these moves. So we're out now. We didn't want to be involved in a full bounce back to highs. So that one we caught $90. So we're back to $70 down. $70 down. Negligible loser there. Alrighty, 70. We just caught that short. Pretty happy with that. Thought process behind it. If 900 doesn't hold now, you got two wicks. This could be now a double bottom, long potential from here, right? We didn't really quite flush 150. So anything here, get a feeler on that long for that double bottom bounce play. The reason for me getting out is also a good reason to get into a long. However, I'm not going to just hammer into it right away. I'm going to let this thing do its little dance. If NVIDIA can hold 900, then some of these other names may be able to kind of prop us up as well. Apple, NVIDIA holds 900. If it gets up to that like 906-ish, then you think maybe we can break back above this overnight low, and then really run back high side. It's just like a dance that it's going to potentially do, but it could crack the low and continue on to downside. So let's just, like I said, be cautious. We're one more good trade could be make the day great. I think we do have a delta divergence here. I think we're going to go with that. Stop at the low. One guy. I'm going to watch this for NVIDIA to hold 900. I think a lack of follow through there on the bottom end pushes this high side. If we can get above 200, except above 238, maybe we add a contract above 238 just to continue this full rotation. Get a contract in up there, and then take profit initially at VWAP. That's how I think. Double bottom, lack of follow through 900. If 900 cracks right now, I'm gonna get out. Right? If 900 cracks, I get out. If it gets up to 906, then potentially this buy side comes back in. But 900 looks like it wants to break again. Oh, I got rid of it. Where is it? 900 wants to break one more time. If it does and it flushes hard, then we're going to just hit the flatten button really quick. Looks like it wants to hold. Looks like it wants to hold. Double bottom, double bottom, double bottom. 900 holding, not flushing, not flushing. Apple curling upside. Let me just see what Microsoft's doing real quick. Yeah, Microsoft's giving it a little bit of a bounce from that low. NVIDIA still holding 900. I think a hold of 900 gets you to push up. That overnight low needs to hold. If the overnight low holds, stops going here. Yeah, stops going to break even. We're even on that. We're above 200. So now any sort of follow through should be secured above the overnight low. And like I said, I'm going to add above here. If I can get above that 233, I anticipate this to continue to push upside. Apple giving you a curl. NVIDIA just dancing with 900. Dancing with it. 901. It just jumped from 900 to 901 to 902. It's jumping dollars at a time right now. 50 cents at a time. It's jumping to the upside. The move to the upside, whereas it was 901, 902, back down to 901.50, back down to 900. I mean, it's really dancing around. So whatever NVIDIA ends up deciding is where this market's going to go. Apple curled up already. It's kind of front run it. I'm front running it as well with the double bottom, lack of breakdown. Delta pretty much acted the same, right? Didn't quite make new lows. And we're probably going to get stopped here with NVIDIA breaking through 900. So we're going to be out even, which is fine with me because this is probably going to flush. All right, we're flat. We made $4.50 on that trade. It really just puts us even on that. So I'm not going to update the position board at all, except for just put a space in between there because I don't like it when it doesn't have a space. 5 spaces. 10:53. We have 2 minutes till I'm not making any more trades on the stream. So let's see. Maybe if this does hold, I mean, we didn't get a really hard flush in 900, so maybe it does. But I'm gonna guess that we are more likely than not gonna rotate downside again with the break of 900. Look at that. That's actually setting up nice. If this becomes a higher low, the break above the overnight low is the breakout point from this trend line break. Fine, I don't like that. Sometimes the orders kind of get stuck. I'm doing these with one contract because I don't like NVIDIA breaking 900. I think in 900 being a very important level, really 955, obviously 900 as a round number, but 955, we just broke through 836.39, sitting on top of support from 2 days ago. The next support level is, like I said, 877 is that support below. Apple did still curl upside. NVIDIA is attempting to make a new high, a curl of that level. Microsoft also. So, like I said, if NVIDIA doesn't really flush 9 and reclaims it, then you do get this. We're going to play the wedge breakout, right? The downtrend breakout, double bottom, second attempt at a breakthrough, that overnight low. This is a good setup. We didn't make new lows on Delta. Delta's ticking up. Nvidia's trying to reclaim 900 right now. Failing it. If it does crack it, maybe you get a big push and then possibly look to push this as well. We never were really in any trouble with this. We could have left that stop at the low. However, like I said, if we fail this overnight low with Nvidia breaking through 900, I didn't want to stay involved because then there could have been a harder flush. We didn't see the hard flush. We do have 5 minutes left till the end of the stream, so we're going to just flatten this out. End the day right there, slightly down on the day. Nothing overly unfortunate. We did catch a couple of decent moves, and we did catch a couple of losses to start our day. Basically, we are break even based on our wins and losses as far as the good moves were concerned. We ended up down because of those first two attempts at the opening range trade to the low side, which played out nicely the third time, here, but we didn't take it there. So I actually will I'm going to stream. I want to see what happens at 11, so I'll stream till 11:05. Like I said, Monday I'm going to be on. That'll be the big day of the week. Tuesday through Thursday, the family's in town. We're going to be doing family things. So I'll be out and about doing a lot of stuff. Won't be streaming those days, and we'll be back to streaming again probably the following Monday. If I'm not going to be, I'll update everything on my Instagram. If you go over to Instagram at Policing Pips, I'll also check in on the chat. If you want to come in here, I will stay live. I'll keep the chat on, but I won't have video. If you have questions, comments, concerns, want to stop in, hey, say hi, check in, do what you want to do with that. That's cool. I appreciate that. I would really like to get some interaction going. Even when I'm not, streaming live with video, I'll be mindful of charts. Even though I will be out, I'll still be mindful of the charts and everything like that. So it'll be nice to stay in the know. Keep our viewership up, keep the interaction going while I'm not actually streaming for the week. Deck should be back next week, so it kind of like overlaps. You can get back into your rhythm with Deckmar. If you're in here with just me and you want to see some more stuff, Deck's there. There's a few other people, AK-47, anybody in the lobbies, you can go check them out. Especially if you're still in your 7-day free trial. The paid guys are great to go over and watch. You'll learn a lot from them. All right, so now you're pushing lows. Nvidia, like I said, still pushing down inside. Apple turning around. We're within that 5 minutes to the hourly close. So you may get some whippy action here coming into the 11 o'clock hour. Friday, people going into the weekend. Maybe some profit taking coming into the day from the week. We have made new lows since non-farm this morning. We are sitting on our lows right now. This is the whippy low from yesterday that we did break. The low from yesterday, 162.75 post-market. 162.75, that big sell-off came in. We just whipped down, basically down to 145. And those are my two key areas that I had drawn up that would probably be good bounce points. So realistically, if we hold this 85 level, 200 level going into 11, you see any sort of curl up in Nvidia, then you will probably see a recovery, maybe potentially into VWAP for the rest of the day, kind of like a grindy looking pop. I mean, you might get one good pop. You might get a failure. You might just get grind all the rest of the day down here at these lows. There's different things that could happen. Obviously, you're seeing lower high, but equal lows. If this gives you one more push down and fails, then you can look to take it the other way. But this is a setup that I like usually for a short on the other end, right? Double top and then the third lower high. So if you just flip this over, right, that would be what I look at on the other end, right? Let's see. Normally I look at this. I don't know I can't rotate it, but usually I'm looking for this here, and then another lower high up here, and then you get the break, and that'll usually confirm a further move into that VWAP area. So that's what I'm actually looking for here. If I do get that come the 11 o'clock hour, right now 11 o'clock hits, you want to see this area hold. If not, that third touch breakdown usually leads to further selling. So This is the third time at this area that 150 needs to hold, down to 147 needs to hold. Otherwise, selling continues, right? S&P's still pushing down at 5148.50. We made two good moves there that kind of basically got us back to pretty close to even at down 70. Really nothing that I could have done. There's a few things I could have done better. I sized down for the day, anticipating just trying to bounce back, give myself a good rhythm. You did get a lower high, a higher high here that held. So maybe we do get a long through the overnight low on a breakout of this little wedge. You could even cheat it and just break it to the low here, like this. Stop below the low and just never tag the low. See if that happens. I just drew that up for you. See if it'll play out. It's 11 o'clock, 11:01. Let's see if we get triggered in on this. We're triggered in long on that. The third wick of that area. Let's see if NVIDIA will play us up through 900. If NVIDIA gets us up through 900 and we get above that overnight low, you can start to see this becoming a higher low, kind of follow through here coming 11 o'clock. If we get above here, like I said, I'd probably add one onto here. And then you look to take your first profit off at VWAP area. And that was the whole thought process that I just drew up for you that I deleted. But yeah, if you go rewind 2 minutes on the stream, you'll be able to see it. So if we can get NVIDIA back above 900, this thing definitely takes off to the high side. I'll stay on here until this trade fizzles out. A triple bottom to me. If you don't break that third time, I think there's a good chance that this continues up. Which one's going to break first? I need 200 to kind of break. If 200 doesn't break, I may bang out at the low here at 175. I just have my stop below the low in case we just get a flash flush. Apple's breaking and cracking higher. NVIDIA's cracking upside a little bit. So I'm going to put this position here on the position board. Oh, man. I would love to get over to that mastermind there, deck. Flat. We are long 1 MNQ at 18,195.50. There we go, 210. Apple pushing highs, NVIDIA looking to get back to 9. If NVIDIA gets it back to 9, I want to see it rally. Give me a good rally on that, back to 9. That overnight low acted as resistance once again. That's the only issue I have. What's up, Spy Proby? How we doing? There's the flush from that overnight low. Trying to hold this level here, 180. Anywhere between 180 and 200 might bounce around a little bit. Apple's still pushing up. NVIDIA looking to kind of get back to that 900 level. If it can't, then we fail lower. It is heavy. Microsoft did push up higher. Get back to NVIDIA. I want to see that 900 pop. Yeah, look, I say a triple bottom there. It's still higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. Delta played along, it's flat. We've kind of pushed up a bit here. And NVIDIA, Apple is just continuing to try and make new highs. So Apple here supporting us. If Apple can continue on, then Microsoft catching any sort of rotation higher and pushing up actually will continue us as well. And then NVIDIA needs to get to 900. If NVIDIA falters again here, I'm just going to bang out. But this is the last trade of the day. That was a nice little move up to that 210. I'm just trying to not panic sell out, but if NVIDIA's, it's just heavy, right? We're in a heavy market. I'm taking this purely based on the setup being a triple bottom. What I look for on the top end for a triple top type, lower high, lower high, lower high. This is a higher low, higher low, higher low. 3 good wicks at a really key level. And the S&P has just tried to push back above that previous all-time breakout, 5,157.75. So that's another good sign for this to just kind of continue up. If NVIDIA does start to catch a bid, then we do push. But if we flush again, like I said, that's really where we're at. No matter what, last trade of the day here. It's good. Been an up and down week. Had some good days, had some bad days. Really got to refocus in over the weekend. Like I said, on Monday, I will be streaming. Tuesday through Thursday, I have some family coming into town, so it won't be in on the stream, but it's all right because you are in good hands and all the other streamers. I do want to try and build off of our growth that we've had this week. It's fantastic. I love everybody that's come by and participated and stuck around here and there. I will just jump in the chat here and there if I can. Probably won't be live streaming video-wise, but I'll jump in the chat if anybody has any questions, ideas on some levels or whatever. I'll still draw them up, talk about them. Maybe send them out pre-market just so you have them, and then you can make your own good choices moving forward. And then when we come back the following week, we will be in good shape. There goes NVIDIA to the upside. A little curl. If it could break above 900, it's got to get above that 900 for us to really be confident in this bounce from the bottom here. We are very flat on Delta. I mean, we really could just sit here for a while. I am going to stay on until this trade kind of fizzles itself out. And then once I'm done, I'm done. I've been getting myself into trouble trying to hop back in later and do some stuff. So 900 coming in, bouncing up. 955 is really what I want to see break. Can we get above that overnight low? Get above the overnight low. We're curling that low or high. I mean, another high or low here. This is that kind of like that confirmation, right? We broke out. We failed to break back down through it. Now we're trying to confirm it. We're back above 200, looking to get over that overnight low. If we can fade the overnight low, rotate back to VWAP. I do have an add above 233 because there should be some stops there to get run. And that's really what I want to see kind of pop off. But another failure of that overnight low. Really need to get above 210 for it to be a valid long. You got to 900 and failed it again. Just dancing with our entry, which is interesting. I always have a really great entry price. It's either yes for a short or yes for a long, and I'm either wrong or right. And if it doesn't go, then I usually get tagged, right? Like this, trying to push down. Apple's still trying to push that high level, but NVIDIA just giving you that harder sell-off. Microsoft selling a little bit, but still above the support level at 407. Apple pushing highs again. 172 just cracked again, so hopefully that could hold us up while NVIDIA dances around with 900, but it seems like NVIDIA is trying to break the low now. Maybe we can get it to be that just a wick bottom and then go. Seems like 180 is going to crack here and we're going to be out. I have to stop at the low. If it wants to flush the low, then it is what it is. Lower end band of the VWAP right here. If that doesn't act as resistance, I don't know what will. NVIDIA made a new low. So there we go. Probably going to break through the low this time. If it's a quadruple bottom, you're going to get banged out. So looks like we're going to get stopped. There we did. So overall down 87 on that. So back to down 150 on the morning. Like I said, overall that was you had to take that trade based on the setup. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they don't. NVIDIA did not want to play along. So NVIDIA, the only market maker on the day with Apple, Microsoft, everybody else bouncing. You get NVIDIA coming in and selling off like a madman. So there you go. I appreciate everybody coming in for the week. We had a good day a couple days ago. The last 2 days have been shit. So up and down kind of week. back to the drawing board. Come Monday, we'll be better than ever and refreshed from the weekend. Come back in, make some good trades on Monday, and then, like I said, be off from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll try and send in some levels, be here, be interactive. Do your best to come in. We could chat. I'll leave the stream up live come Monday. But once you get this flush here, I think your downside is there's no real resistance past here. 118, 100, and 18,000 could come into play if this is a true flush. So just be mindful of it. That was the best entry we could have had there. Once we came up to that 210 the second time, maybe go to break even on it just because we expect the failure of the level. But you had to leave and give it to the lows because this was just a really strong area of resistance. That could be a liquidity grab flush of the bottom, and then now it's the actual move. There's NVIDIA cracking down. If you break above the overnight low, maybe just going to watch it for one more minute. I know I said that was the last year, but I like this wick bottom now that we're getting. Yeah, I'll take that one more time. Sorry. Give me that break. Sometimes you got to hammer it again at a lower price point. Get a better cost. Same stop. Usually that's a manipulation, failed breakdown, pop to the high side. So that didn't continue. And if you fail the overnight low, that's where you add. And you take profit once again up here. But if you fail it, then you fail it again, then you're out. As NVIDIA goes, so does the market. So the benefit of taking these micros is that I can kind of hammer back in like this and then see if I'll get a follow through on it finally. You can't not take a liquidity sweep, right? It's going to be that kind of day. All the setup types things that I see that I normally take seem to be not playing out of the last few days, this whole week actually. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens with next week and when we move on with, after rollover, maybe something will happen after roll where price action will kind of continue to be a little bit more congruent and back to our strategies working out a little bit better. I just want to get myself onto a good winning streak of hitting some good base hits, singles, doubles, triples, maybe catch one out in front and drive it. But right now, we're looking to see if this failed breakdown is going to play out for us. Get above 200, I mean. If we get above 200, I'll go to break even just because I don't want to see it come back. Apple breaking highs, NVIDIA looking to push up again and fail that level one more time to really manipulate us around. Didn't get to 200 yet. Get up to 200. Get up to 200. Let go of that. Put this up here. Once again. I just leave my risk alone, leave my risk at the bottom, and then let it go. Apple breaking highs. NVIDIA is still sitting down here at the lows. I want to see if Microsoft will push, which it looks like it wants to. Microsoft wants to pop, but then it kind of just goes with what NVIDIA is doing. These look like liquidity sweeps to me, right? Like triple bottom, failed break of that triple bottom, grab some liquidity, stop some people out, run them up, and then run to high of day. Like that's really kind of what I see out of this. Trying to let it breathe a little and let that bottom end hold, but it's really if NVIDIA wants to go or not. And that's unfortunate because reasonably speaking, I mean, S&P's bounced perfectly off 148.50. So we are at a key level there. We're at a key level of 145 on the NQs. Bounced right off of 145 and rotated. But with the NVIDIA trade kind of faltering and pushing down, and it's just lacking follow through to the downside, you know, you would expect some of this rotation to occur normally, as we normally do, right? Like we normally get, if you get a sweep of like this, a liquidity sweep of the bottom of a zone after a triple bottom, you usually get a little bit of a pop or the full reversal. Yeah, now it doesn't want to play. Trying to stay on, holding pattern. Come on, NVIDIA, give me a $100 move upside. It gave a $100 move to the downside. Why not give a $100 move to the upside, or a $200 move to the upside up into 1,000? You know, close your week strong, NVIDIA. You got this. There's that lower, higher low. It's still trying to hold this little bit of a trend line here that's been developed. Grabbing the liquidity here, grabbing it. I have a hard time betting against NVIDIA after the last few weeks. The whole year, I should say, since January. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to be surprised if this gives you one hard wick down, grabs everything right here, and then explodes up. I'm not going to re-enter. This is it. I did say that was the previous trade was the last one. This is really, truly the last one. I'm not going to re-enter if that does happen, but just sort of feels like that wants to happen for some reason. I'm going to leave this alone, let it just play out, and see if it'll pop. Nope. There it goes. All right. 180, 160, 180, 160, 180, 160, 200, and then now we're going to flush the low here. So, all right. I am done for the day after this thing stops me out, and then we will see you all Monday morning, 8:30 Central Time. Like I said, I appreciate everybody. I'm glad we were able to bump up our numbers this week, do a giveaway. We're going to do as many as we can. Next one's going to be at 50 viewers, then 100. And then, like I said, anybody who's in here every day, like I said, we stopped out there, $50, nothing crazy. We're down about 2, so all good. I want you guys to all have a great weekend. Until next week, like I said, come back and join us. All right. We're going to be doing one day, Monday only next week. So make sure you're coming on Monday. Let's bump those numbers up. Let's get a 50. I'll give away whatever once we get to 50, and then we'll move on and go away for the week, and then come back strong, refreshed, ready to go. Like I said, I appreciate everybody. I'll talk to you later. Have a great week.